super awkward while on the camera while I'm in public, so I'm gonna try to do this as discreetly as I can. Out raspberries for my birthday. But I don't know how to tell the difference between raspberries and blackberries, so I'm hunting for the tags. So just to double check. Raspberry. 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 I've been doing a little bit of research on how to grow raspberry bushes, and what I've learned so far is that they prefer slightly acidic soil. So what I did was I went into the garden and I took a teaspoon of dirt from four different spots in the area that I am thinking I'm gonna plant them in. So I got a little teaspoon of that, and then I found a bowl that's been sitting outside that collected some rainwater from the other day, and I think that will do better with this pH test than the water from the faucet, because we're on city water, so I don't know for sure, but I feel like that's not gonna be as true of a test as this will be. This is the brand that I am using. It's pretty simple. All you do is mix equal parts of water and dirt and let it sit for 20 minutes, and then you stick the strip in it for 2 seconds and let the strip rest for a little while before you actually take the reading. And then there's this that tells you what it actually is.
Alrighty, these little cups of dirt just have to sit for 20 minutes before I can test them. Alrighty, as you guys can see, I've got 5 raspberry plants here, and we're about to take them to the backyard to plant them.
What are you sitting in?
A dragon.
The dragon? It's a wagon.
No, wagon.
Good job.
The dragon.
All right, we're all loaded up, going to the backyard. I think my garlic is recovering from the chickens pecking at it so bad. Looks like the beds have settled pretty good too. This is just a couple of days. Settled a lot. My blackberry bush, this is actually gonna go with the raspberries. Okay, so I tested the soil where I'm planting these raspberries, and it is a 6.0, which is acidic. Neutral is 7. Did a little internet search, and according to that, raspberries do better when they're in an area that gets about 4 hours of direct sun and then the rest of the day filtered sun. So I picked this spot over here next to the fence because it's the part of the garden that gets shade first. And I think that'll be the perfect spot. This is also where I tested the soil. I'm going to dig the trench, and I'm going to get a bucket full of compost, bring it over, dump it in the trench, put the plants in on top of that, and then surround it with the native soil. Jack's putting all my plants back in the wagon, or rather the dragon, as he likes to call it. Such a girl for this, but I am a girl. I got a bad splinter. I'm gonna go in and get my gloves. First get this splinter out, then get my gloves so that I don't get another one. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm digging the trench that I'm putting the raspberries in, and I'm going to mix my compost, which is yard waste, kitchen scraps, and manure. I tested the pH of that in the garlic bed a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and that had the pH of 7.5, okay? I just tested the soil in the spot that I'm planting the raspberries in, and that was a 6.0. Just did a quick search online, and raspberry plants prefer a slightly acidic soil, which would be like a 6.5 or 6. But I want to have it more towards a 6.5. So I'm going to mix a little bit of my compost in with the native soil in that spot. And then I'm gonna test it again and see if I've achieved what I wanted. Now, I'm not sure this is the right way to do this. So if you are trying to figure out the same thing that I am, I suggest looking for a few more sources, but I'll share with you what I find with this too. To myself, I don't need to rush this project to plant the raspberries out. I just got them today. They don't need to go into the ground this very second. So I'm gonna take my time and do this right. I'm digging the trench right now. I just got my garden gloves. And then I'm gonna mix that dirt I dug away with the compost to try to get the pH of the soil where I want it. And if that means I have to wait until tomorrow to plant these out, then so be it. Okay, got the trench dug. There it is. Sort of centered with these two posts. I'm gonna go take my wagon, get a tote load of compost, and then mix it in with this dirt and get my scoop of it to test the soil's pH. Right now I just kind of get a scoop of it to test with my pH tester strips. Yesterday I did not end up having time to test my soil out. So I'm gonna do that now. It's probably better that it sat for a little while too, so I'm gonna dig down a little bit. So this is a third cup. This is a 1/2 cup. I don't know if you can read that. 1/2 cup scoop of dirt. And I need to mix this with a cup of water. And wait for 20 minutes. I'm not gonna edit that out. While I wait for the solution to set for the 20 minutes, I'm going to do a little bit more work outside in the yard. I've got all those beds in the front that I need to dig away the sand in them so that I can fill them with things later. So I'm gonna work on that for a little bit. I probably won't finish, but it'll at least get it started, and I need to get the ball rolling with that. So I've got these two, and then the one that wraps around the house. And then I plan to also grow flowers along the fence. Pretty sure I can't lift this wheelbarrow, but I'm gonna try. I can swivel it. Must ask for help.
Yes.
Can you help me, please?
What?
I have filled the wheelbarrow up too much. I can't move it.
You want to just put this in the...
There's a lot of really big grubs in it. They'd probably enjoy scratching around and eating them up. You got it. We must not leave tools in a yard. My neighbors are watching and laughing because our yard is always a mess. Done. Ready to test. Okay. The soil test strip. I know we've done this twice already. But we'll do it the third time and the fourth time and as many times as I have strips for 2 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and you read after 15 seconds. So it looks like a 6.5 to me, or a 7. So I gave it a neutral pH, which is good for most things, but raspberries like it to be a little more acidic than that. So my gardening book here, let me go get it, I'll show you. Raspberries, there it is. They should have full sun 8 to 10 hours. Okay, that's different from what I heard from the MI gardener. They say that they do well if they get a solid 4-5 hours of sun and are in the shade, or at least filtered sun for the rest of the day. So this might be particular, obviously it's particular to North Carolina, so maybe the raspberries down here are a little different. I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. So far, doing this research on raspberries, I've learned they like soil that is sandy. They can handle being planted in heavy clay soil, but you don't want it to be too heavy. And they prefer an acidic pH, which is a lower pH, preferably between 5.5 and 6.5, which is what this book says. And I also found many sources online just from Googling it that also agree with this book. Acidity, sandy, clayey, 2 feet apart when you're planting them, and 8 to 10 feet apart if you're doing multiple rows, which I am not. So let's carry on and we will get these guys into the ground. Ben just dumped the wheelbarrow load of dirt in the chicken's yard because if there was a bunch of grass and grubs in it. So we're letting the girls scratch around at it. All right, it is planting time. Oh man, it is really nice to live in a place where the growing season is so long. Let's get these raspberries in the ground. So for my birthday, we went to this garden center. Oh, so beautiful. They had a bunch of different animals there. Really neat. That's a bud. And many thorns. Okay. So this is a little baby coming off of it. It's pretty exciting. Oh my gosh, so freaking heavy. Was not prepared for that. I did look it up first because I wasn't sure if it was okay to plant blackberries and red raspberries next to each other, and since they're so close, since they're so closely related, then it's okay. So if anybody knows any different, please leave in the comments below so that we can all learn. And yes, so I'm gonna finish burying these up and then call it a day for the gardening stuff. I'm sure my boys probably are awake by now, so I'm gonna go check on them when I'm done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video learning about raspberries. Remember, they prefer acidic soil. Space them 2 feet apart. Rows 8 to 10 feet apart.
Here's another look at that beautiful garden center that I went to for my birthday. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Happy gardening.